morning. The time is midday on Sunday the 8th of October 2017. I've just spent an amazing day and a half with Michael Stevenson in Peterborough, and I've just left Peterborough. I left about half an hour ago, and I'm on my way northeast to Broken Hill, the mining city where they mine lead and silver and all sorts of things. So I'm looking forward to a couple of days, 1.5 days in Broken Hill before I turn around and drive all the way home to Adelaide. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me with the wind. I'm on a slight hill in Broken Hill, and I just want to show you the suburbs. Most of the houses are very shabby little shacks, either weatherboard or corrugated iron, very run down. And every now and then you get a little transportable house, well kept in the garden, nice little garden, but many of them, there's lots of dereliction around. And then I've just come up this little hill, as I said. If I swing around, this is about the poshest house I've seen. Right on the top of the hill with the dog barking. And there's a fairly nice house next door, but I have not seen anything like this. Would you believe I'm actually lost in Broken Hill? Somehow my map doesn't cover the whole city, and I've walked off my map. But I've come across one amazing thing, and that is a street named after Albert Morris. And he's the person the reason why I came here to look. He was the person who started the revegetation in 1930 around the edges of the city. Legacy. All these mulgars here, I am sure, would have been part of his initiative. As I said, they're very long lived. They live for hundreds of years, and this is on the southern side of Broken Hill. At last my pilgrimage has been fulfilled. And then presumably at some stage this was listed as a heritage area. If you can see that. Standing on the side of the main street of Broken Hill, and this is Argent Street. All the streets are named after minerals and things, so Argent of course means silver. This is the post office with its imposing tower and clock, or clock tower, and then ugly electronic receiver, and then over there are some very lovely old buildings. And as you can see down the main road, you can see hints of the old history of the towns. Okay, so in the nature of serendipity, I've come across this shop, which is a clothes merchandising shop. But actually, it's an amazing little mineral shop. And I bought several little pebbles here, which I really love. I'll just take you inside for a minute. There's there. So it's lots of football merchandise. But then, surprise, surprise, you go along here, and there's this whole row of all kinds of minerals, and a lovely display at the back. I'm still on Argent Street in Broken Hill, still on Monday the 9th, and this is a statue in memory of the men of Broken Hill and District who gave their lives in the Great War. But what's interesting is over here on the right is the local court building, and you can see all of the people waiting for their cases to come up, and you can even see some policemen there in the middle ground. I love the Palace Hotel with the mine dump in the background, still on Argent Street. So there's the Palace Hotel with its remarkable pointy roof. getting a bit carried away, but isn't this a lovely broad pavement? Also on the main street you can see the Palace Hotel in the background there, and then a very wide main street here with buildings of a variety, and then finally just hovering in the background a mine dump. Yeah, most of the shops are empty, and the one I was looking for is the one with the green stripe on it, which is books and collectibles, and it's closed on Mondays. The reason why I've stopped here is to just draw your attention to the vegetation. Isn't it amazing? That flowering thing in flower at the moment is a little acacia. Very tough little thing. And doesn't it just stand out? You know, if it weren't in flower, you would have no idea where it was, but it's sort of marked out for you to see. All of the yellow flowering plants are that little acacia, and it's a very, well, it looks like a very hardy little plant. Here's an example right next to the road, which you can have a look at. To give you some idea of the road, and you know, all these floodways, this is a very undulating road, and obviously when it rains heavily the water just rushes across it, as you see from these floodways. So that gives you an idea. And there's another one coming here. There you go. If you visit the Daydream Mine, which is off the Silverton bitumen road, you drive on a fairly, it's pretty smooth, but it's undulating road with lots of crests and floodways, and you have to open a series of gates to go through, so it's like being on a farm almost. Here we are at the Daydream Mine. This is the front lawn. What would a mine be like without some really picturesque wrecked mining machinery rusting in the sun? This is a miner's cottage with the walls of stone, and then they would have put whitewashed hessian over the top because there was no corrugated iron, and they would sleep sitting up because they couldn't sleep lying down because of coughing up all sorts of dust and phlegm and stuff. They would have basically drowned in their own. And what they used to take for their cough was they used to smoke opium, which was... That's the tea room and head office of the Daydream Mine, made from materials of which all of the Broken Hill mines were made. And actually, surprisingly, over there is, in that little white shack, is the entrance to the mine itself, which actually is underneath this ridge here. It goes down 300 or 400 feet below the ridge. On into the Daydream Mine through a small hole in the ground. Going down the stope to the next level, deeper down. There we are. And the roof held up by mulga, dry mulga stumps. So what you've got here is, it's basically a granitic background which has been cracked and shattered, and then minerals from deep down have been mobilized up between the granite, and then sometimes you get a thicker seam like this one here. Let's turn my light up a bit. You can see this thicker dark seam, that's the actual ore body.
You're cracking the stone, you get your heel bar, you drive it in that crack the stone, you prise the stone out. Once the stone's been prized out, you scale down and loose material around, so it's all secured. Along your work face there, where it's all been fired out, you get your bar there and you scale down and loose material off that as well. Over on this side over here, you're tapping away. What you hear is a drumming noise. A drumming noise means the rock's got a crack in it, there's air behind it, and it's an indication that the ground's loose.
That's
the pub at Silverton.
Mine, all my shirts.
And the signs hanging from the roof.
Yeah, they all go up, so
bottles and hats and stuff. I'm up at the Living Desert Park, about 12 k's or so out of Broken Hill, which you can see in the distance there, and it's a rocky hill. And these sculptures were done by sort of a festival. They started by hauling these sandstone blocks up the hill, and they had a series of international sculptors come and do them. And then it's become a sort of an institution now where it's kind of a tourist attraction. People come up here, but you can see beautiful vistas, you know, out beyond you can see hills in the distance all the way around, all the plains around. So I suspect this is a granite outcrop which hasn't weathered down as fast, and these are the mulga trees. And you can see that the sculptures and the natural rocks, and then the magnificent vista out over the hilly plains. It's a terrific place. And then all around, and then eventually through the mulga trees out to Broken Hill. So it's a terrific place. I'm in the Little Desert Floral Reserve, and lots of the plants are labelled, and I'm on a sort of a rocky outcrop, and you can see on the ridge the mulga. So there seems to be the emergent plants are largely acacia, and then there are lots of quinopods, salt bush type things lower down, and then this lovely little purple thing which I've shown you before when I was at the mine, which is in flower at the moment. It's a tiny forb. It's also like a kind of a salt bush. Here we are. I'm just crossing the border between South Australia and New South Wales. Whoops. After my trip to Broken Hill. Good morning. It's 6:30 on Tuesday the 10th of October 2017, and I've just finished my trip to Broken Hill, and I'm on the long drive back to Adelaide. It's 500 k's. As I say, I left at about 6 this morning, and I'll be driving all day. Been a great trip in Broken Hill. I've learned a whole lot of interesting history, and I've seen some beautiful desert bush, and it was a really worthwhile trip. I went to Peterborough for a couple of days, Broken Hill for a couple of days,